So let's say, just for argument's sake, that the day comes where you cannot buy gold and silver. Where's that hard-earned fiat going? I mean, where else are you going to protect those funds like you would with gold and silver? Does gold and silver even protect your funds? Again, that's all debatable. But what would it be? Now, we all know a lot of the stacking community, has a disdain for anything they can't physically touch. You don't hold it, you don't own it. Now, would that mean other assets, other commodities maybe? You buying corn? You buying wheat? You buying coffee? Where are you putting that money? What are you going to do with it? Are you going to change it to a different fiat currency? Does that really help protect you anymore? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you're thinking that you'll trade your worthless US dollar fiat for the new BRICS currency that's backed by gold. Wow, lovable. I love it. Why wouldn't you want a BRICS currency that's backed by gold? Well, I mean, if history is any guide, this should be a red flag right off the bat. First, even if it is backed by gold, how are you going to redeem it? And how much do you trust being able to redeem it when you want to for physical metal? Again, these are all things that you got to consider. Is it really, are you changing out one dirty shirt for another? It really could be. And the one that you're changing it to definitely has a lot of holes in it. But on top of that, think of that. If you had to put your money into something physical, what is the next logical evolution? Well, maybe it's, I would say maybe something like real estate, something like that. But again, we get back to in, some type of cataclysmic, downturn or something that happens that just throws to the wind the system that we have. Are people going to respect your land rights? Are people going to be like, oh, that's so-and-so's land, we can't go on there? Well, of course they will, Chris, because, I'll have so much lead and ammo. Also, I'll have plenty of guns and ammo to make sure that they don't come on my land. Yeah. I get it, but how sustainable is that really? And then isn't there always kind of a bigger fish? Like you can have all the weapons in the world, or realistically, what you can get your hands on. But if there's a determined enemy, they're gonna find a way to take you out. So is that also a good option? I don't know. But these are the things that you want to think through and ask yourself. It's remote, right? The day coming where you wouldn't be able to get your hands on this physical bullion. Now, if you listen to Tim from Stinky Yakin, he makes it seem like this bad boy is coming out of circulation at any time, and you gotta do whatever you gotta do to get your hands on it. Especially during every fear and FOMO pump, it seems like he's out there, talking about how this is it, this is the one, and then we end up going right back down to the normal price range. Now, again, with so many different stackers, you keep hearing this mantra that, well, I'm up on my stack, so that means that it's a good investment. So there. Yes, pretty much everybody that purchased pre-2020 is up in some fashion on their bullion. But does that mean that it's really, are you really getting your value out of that? Think about it. Think about it in this context. People give you that narrative of, look, silver's, obviously, increased in value since, 2020. Well, of course, we were all stacking before then. So, a good portion of our stack is in the green. The problem is everything else also gained in value since 2020. Real estate's through the roof. Stocks are through the roof. Yes, they had a downturn last year, but it still gained, a substantial amount. Now, make no mistake, silver did have a good run. Same thing with gold. They did increase in value, and they have, held their own up until now. But what are we going to do if it gets right back down to $13, $14, $15? Now, you ask plenty of stackers, and right now they'll tell you that's never going to happen. We're never going back to those prices. But again, how right are they? Spot fell into 17s, I think, last October. It's that close. It's that quick. Just the way that they came down from the peaks in March and April, it can happen again. So again, my question is, where's that hard-earned money going, to get out of fiat if those days come where you can purchase silver and gold? I contemplate these things because I ask myself, what is going to be the reaction of the community if those days come? Now, why would something like that happen? I don't know. Personally, I think there's plenty of bullion to be had. The pandemic was clearly the greatest, mass supply chain issue that you could, reasonably expect, above a full-on SHTF. And yet, again, I mean, you could have bullion ready at your door, even with all the supply issues, a couple days, no problem. You're going to pay for it, but you could have it. There was plenty. And yet, again, you'll hear so many, stackers or coin shop, well, you're not going to be able to get your hands on it. Lies, ridiculousness. It really is. And the funny part is that, again, bullion as a percentage of overall silver demand is infinitesimally small. It's nothing. And so, same thing with all these, silver squeeze and silver raid and blah, blah, blah. What is it really going to get you? You think you're going to drive up silver prices and you're going to show the man? You think you're the Hunt brothers? No. You're sadly mistaken. Now, the bullion dealers love you. Tim loves you because you're trading your fiat, which I will never understand how someone who sings the virtue of metals is trading metals that he swears are the greatest thing ever to, for fiat. Well, it's a necessary evil. He has to do business in fiat. That's a necessary evil, Chris. Again, I don't care what anybody says. If I knew I had something that was just worth, whatever, some crazy amount, and I was giving it away to other people for worthless paper, no, I'm just going to keep accumulating it for myself. Well, he runs a business so that he can give me... Stop. Either way, we all know that he's financing his life with that dirty fiat. So, again, all these narratives, all these songs that you hear, it just doesn't hold water at the end of the day. People like Tim are the people that thrive on the system being what it is. If things ever fell apart, Tim's livelihood is gone, and then Tim becomes a target. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or but. It just is what it is. And yet you'll hear so many of the different, narratives come out of his mouth about, why, silver and gold and blah. Stop. Again, there are pros and cons to this kind of thing, and there may be many, they may be few and far between. That's up to you to decide. But the thing about it, like I said, is when you really boil it down, all of these people are taking advantage of the system as is, which is great. That's what it's set up to be doing. But don't take advantage of the system and then sing this song that this here is going to be the only savior. It's ridiculous. Crazy world we live in. But like I said, these big announcements the BRICS nations are going to launch their currency in August, and it's going to be backed by gold, and it's going to be the greatest thing ever you're going to see. No. It is doomed from the start. It is doomed from the start. Now, again, at some point, will there come another currency down the pike that does knock off the dollar? Yes. Is it probably in my lifetime? Probably not. Is it in your lifetime? Probably not. Why? Because, again, there's so much power behind the status quo. There's so many different things that, again, throw everything else out the window and make the dollar even stronger. That's the other part. Most of the people who are parroting this stuff about the dollar's going by the wayside or the dollar. No, not only do these people not understand economics, they don't understand finance, they don't understand 90% of the things that they're talking about, but they'll love to tell you, as a matter of fact, that they did their research on the internet and this is what's going to happen. Ridiculous. But I love it because it makes it on a daily basis. You just hear these wild things about what's supposed to happen, what's going to happen, and it never comes to fruition. Again, we've heard for so long that this BRICS thing is going to take over and, it's just going to change the world. Look at Russia foundering in Ukraine. No, they're playing 5D chess. You don't understand. All these people all this equipment that they lost, it's just a sham. They're saving their best units. That is the most ridiculous thing on earth. Think about that from a strategic standpoint. You're going to send your worst people first, let them get slaughtered, lose equipment, lose money, lose lives. And then you're going to hold back your other equipment, while you're wasting supplies, you're wasting time, you're wasting the strategic position because you're going to bring in your units later to an enemy that's, again, armed to the teeth and determined, versus just doing that at the get-go and knocking them out in a one swift kick, as Hitler said, right? One swift kick and the whole rotten structure will come down. Yeah, sounds like the same song that old Vladdy got before he went into Ukraine, and we're seeing how that's working out. It's probably going to be the same thing for the BRICS currency, but I'll let you dive headfirst into that.